let's kick it off. Why did you start your estate agency?
You realise if you've grown up in a town, you end up knowing a hell of a lot of people. They come to you for your service and your expertise. To do something for myself or go self-employed or something, a business of my own as such.
What would you say was the biggest initial challenge you faced when setting up?
On that first day, I remember when we sat in our little tiny cubicle office as such, and the phone doesn't ring.
And how long does that take from when you get your first house sale? How long did it take?
We actually sold the house 24 hours after we set up.
What would you say the biggest thing that you guys do, either individually or as a team, for positive mindset?
Almost friends with all of our clients.
Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Samuel. Welcome to today's episode, everyone. I'm really excited about this. We're diving into a topic that resonates with a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners. So I've got
The word entrepreneur.
Yeah. Got two inspiring guests with me, both brothers that set up an estate agency in 2024. So we're going to talk about their successes, some of the challenges they've faced, and also growth plans for the future. But a big part of today's podcast as well is about positive mindset and work.
Yeah.
So it's really important to make sure that we spend a lot of time working. It's really important to make sure that we enjoy each day and the team enjoys it as well. So welcome both. Let's kick it off. Why did you start your estate agency?
I'll let you start with that one.
I think, well, at the time, I've been doing it pretty much since school, so quite a long time. Sort of, I don't want to say chucked into it because I love it, but I've been doing it for, I think it's around 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And I think it gets to a point when you realise if you've grown up in a town, you end up knowing a hell of a lot of people. They come to you for your service and your expertise. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to do something for myself or go self-employed or something, a business of my own as such. And Ross, I'll let you do your bit.
Yeah, so I think, as Jack said, we're sort of both growing up around the property world, both local. And like Jack said, he's worked in agencies since school. I took a slightly different path to begin with. I finished school, went to university, studied business and finance, but always in the back of my head,
Ross was a smart one.
people assume I'm the smart one. But no, it was in the back of my head. Was sort of gifted into the property industry. My father, large property law firm, which is sort of where I went after university. So I done conveyancing for quite a few years. Got good insight into the background and into the property world, really.
So for people that don't know property industry, you've got estate agents that, what's your main job as an estate agent?
So we put the houses on the market, we sell the houses, and then technically it then gets passed over to the conveyancers where they do the legal side, which is where Ross comes into play.
So then the legal side, what does that involve generally, if you in layman's terms?
So obviously you put an offer on a property, get your offer accepted via the estate agent. Mortgage advisor comes into play as well. That's your role. And then you instruct a conveyancer who deals with the legal side of the purchase to make sure the property is suitable for you as a person or a family.
It's probably the most important bit, I would say, or certainly stressful bit for people.
It is a crucial part.
So what's interesting then is you've got both pockets of the industry there.
Yes.
You've got you with your estate agency background, you've got you with your conveyancing. And what made you decide to go, right, let's do this together?
I feel a bit sorry for you actually, because you didn't really have a choice, did you? you ended up working with me.
Well, so yeah, if we go back to Jack, as he's already said, he's worked for several, or two in particular, quite large estate agencies, and he did do for quite some years. I was in conveyancing, as I've already said, but it was sort of come to 2020. Jack was fed up working where he was working. I was not fed up working where I was working, but I wanted to change. I wanted to run my own business with Jack. And
how old were you at this point?
I was 21 at this point. It was pretty young. Yeah.
It was coming off track a little bit there. I remember it very well. It was November the 1st, 2020.
Yeah.
The day before, literally the day before, we both finished our jobs, and then Boris announced we were going on to lockdown. So then obviously we're both there like, what are we going to do now? Like, we can't work.
Yeah.
Were you furloughed? What was the case with work at that time?
We'd handed in our notices.
Jack,
Wow.
Yeah. We there was a lot of planning going into it in the background, so we'd made our minds up sort of before it obviously all started.
Before the secret came out,
Before the secret came out.
Yeah.
It was almost like a match made in heaven. I wanted to start business. Jack wanted to start business. He needed me, I needed him. We was only ever going to start it instantly. It's because this is where we're born and bred and where we know people. And we haven't looked back.
Perfect. So you started your business. You had what sounds like a bit of a challenge with COVID, November 2020. What would you say was the biggest initial challenge you faced when setting up?
I think a little bit of the initial planning for about a year before. And then on that first day, I remember when we sat in our little tiny cubicle office as such, and the phone doesn't ring. And where you're used to an environment where the phone naturally rings, you think, right, what we're going to do? So we were going out door knocking, which is horrible. You're just giving it everything, aren't you? Just absolutely.
Yeah, I think aside from the initial setup phase, which is always daunting for any business person, entrepreneur, because whilst we knew that the industry that we were going into quite well, neither of us had had that on hands experience of running a business. Then
initially it's going out to get the business, isn't it?
Yeah, which is what we enjoyed doing. But on the first or second week, going into a lockdown, that's very daunting, not just for us, but for the whole country. Where do we go from here? How are we going to do property viewings, etc.? What are the rules and regulations? It's a real curveball. But at the same time, on the flip side of things, it was great for us because straight away we went into a sort of new world of agency where we were, straight onto virtual tours. So the disadvantage was a bit of an advantage because, straight away we got a 360 video tour camera, and
So you invested in that yourself?
Invested straight away. We done some training, and it wasn't a case of we can't show you this property. It was a case of no problem at all. We've got a virtual tour here, and people really liked it.
Do you remember when you were going out and you were doing all the photographs? You yourself, weren't you? We were coming back, we were getting listings as such, which is obviously, if you don't know what a listing is, that's when the house is about to go on the market. And I'd be ringing Ross to say, right, can you go and put that board up? We also need photos doing on this X, Y, and Z. Running around, it was just two of us.
Yeah, so you're doing it all on your own. You've not really got anyone to help you. There'll be people listening that will maybe want to start their own business, or maybe are just intrigued on how you guys started your own business. So at the start, you had the challenges there with the phone not ringing. How do you stay motivated through that time?
I think we ended up motivating each other, and you haven't really got a choice. So if you want to succeed, you've got to put it in at the start. And I mean, we were going to local events, and we still do now to a certain degree, sponsoring local events, going to different clubs, pubs, just a whole range of networking, basically.
Yeah, just like word of mouth.
Yes, absolutely.
You obviously had the struggles in November 2020 with getting started. You're doing it all on your own. How do you stay motivated to actually getting up every day, putting in all of the effort yourselves to running the business when the phones aren't ringing either?
I think when your effort starts, because then the effort that you're putting in the beginning, and then the phone starts ringing, and then people are then asking or requesting to go out and provide them evaluations. I think that was motivating me. And then when you start selling houses and you think, oh God, this is actually starting to work. I can see where this is going now.
And how long does that take from when you get your first house sale? How long did it take?
We actually sold the house 24 hours after we set up.
Really?
Yeah. We had a few lined up.
We had some listings lined up, so we put the first property on the market, and it sold within 24 hours. I remember that was luck or not. We're not sure, but we were.
I remember it well. It was our nan's close friend's house.
Right.
We literally lined that up before we started, so that sort of got us going, didn't it?
Yeah. So first sale went on. That's great. The biggest struggle in agency, unless you've got a big pot of money to begin with, is that you're waiting. You've got to wait out that initial period for your pipeline to start converting.
Yeah.
You may come in, you may sell 1 or 2, 3, 4 houses in the first month, but you're not going to see that money or be rewarded from that money for, I think the average at the time was sort of 12 weeks.
Okay.
So that's the struggle.
Basically skinned for 12 weeks.
For a few months. So you need to make sure you've got a buffer in place for at least a few months if you're going to get started. You also need to make sure you've got a group of potential prospects that are going to get started as well for you. When I started my business, it was all about friends and family at the start.
Absolutely.
So it was just what you said. Getting over to the pub, speaking to your friends and family, going to events, speaking to friends and family. Not nice to always do, but talking about yourself, talking about what you do. Some people don't feel confident doing that.
Ross is good at that, I'm not.
Yeah.
You've got the way around.
I'm aware.
I was going to say, I feel like it would be the other way around.
Yeah.
But that's the hard part at the start. The hard graft, friends and family make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So it's your initial, I suppose, internal inside circle that help you get off the ground running.
Absolutely.
And then would you say it spirals from there, or what else do you think?
It's files from there. So, like you say, yeah, friends, family, people you know, that's very important. You've then got to get into the, from the outset, we always wanted to keep it very local. And that to us meant like sponsor local school events. So we both attended Logtown School and Crossall School. So, I think within that first 6 months, we were, already on board to, do a Christmas competition at Crossall School, and we were sponsoring St. Neots Rugby Club. And, we were attending all of these local charity events that were sort of giving back. And you become, once you become part of the local community, you start to see those rewards, because you come across people and they say, oh, it's Jack and Ross, it's those two brothers that have just set up an estate agency. They were nice guys at that event. Or
it's the power of, I suppose, human connection as opposed to just being behind the laptop screen.
Absolutely.
And calling people is, if you actually get out there and physically see people,
Definitely.
then I mean that's I suppose how connections start and how you get your business running.
So important.
Absolutely.
So what would you say the best successes have been since you started? It's been 4 years now. If you were to look at the key pivotal moments, what would you say the best successes are?
Best successes. So if we go back, so when we first started, we had this really small box office on an industrial site, and we were happy with that at the time.
It's like a shoebox.
And it was a shoebox. It wasn't very client friendly. No one really knew where we were, but it was our office. It was our first office, and the first success, I think we were both really chuffed when we finally moved out of that office and we got a more prominent space. We're here now on Eatonford Green, which is it in the hearts and Neots. And then another key success for me was, I'd say for a more recent success, is now we've been going for 4 or 5 years, coming up 5 years. We're starting to come across previous clients, old clients that we'd dealt with back in 2020, 2021.
They've done a good job for.
Well, it's a job for.
That's good. So you're seeing like the repeat customers. That's the success you've got coming through there.
Yes.
How about for you, Jack? What would you say your biggest success is?
I think probably in line with what Ross has just said. I've loved taking on more staff.
Yeah.
I like seeing the growth, and I like seeing because you're now at a point where you now start to think, right, okay, we're where we want to be, but what's next? Mm-hmm. That's the worst thing about it. You never feel it's exciting, but you never feel like you're content. You always want more.
What is if you were to look forward now, let's say 6 to 12 months, what's the growth plans?
Growth plans. So there are growth plans in place. We're very enthusiastic. We're still just as energetic as what we were when we started 5 years ago. So really, what we want to do is expand out. We want to help more people. We currently predominantly serve St. Neots. We do surrounding villages, but we would like to go into new areas whilst ensuring that our main focus is still the St. Neots hub.
And how are you doing in comparison to other agents in St. Neots, would you say?
I'd say that we've got
There's top three. There's top three, I would say, in St. Neots at the minute. I can't remember how many agents there are. I think it's must be about 14, 15.
That's not bad in 4 years of a state agency.
No, I think market to be in, especially in a small town. We're really proud of what we've achieved and what we are still achieving. We actually don't like to compare ourselves to the other estate agents in town, just because when we did start, we always said that we want to be different.
Yeah.
So if we're doing what the others are doing, then we're not achieving that.
What's different?
What's different is that we're still
Coming up with the questions today.
yeah. We are different because we're still very much
I think the owner managed.
owner managed. We don't just say we're owner managed, but we are essentially a family-run business. We're more than business partners. We're brothers. We take home with us day in, day out, and at any point of the transaction, yes, you're going to come across our staff, but you are going to be dealing with one of the two owners of the business, and I don't know if you can get that much.
One thing to add, when I did a little bit of research before and saw some stuff, is that you have customers that always say that it's very much a personal feel as well. So as opposed to maybe the corporate manner, there's a little bit of a more we're human as well. We're not here to, I suppose, lead you down the wrong path or anything like that. We're here to truly help you. So you're home.
I think you're absolutely right. I think people, because this is technically is the biggest. They say it's one of the most stressful things that someone's ever going to do in their lifetime. Mm-hmm. B is the most expensive asset they're ever going to buy. So I don't think that it's the sort of environment that I think a lot of clients feel like when they deal with some agencies that they're just a number.
Yeah.
They're just another number that's going to exchange, it's going to put some money in the bank. But I don't think it can be like that anymore. I think people want the personal service.
I mean, ultimately, in all transactions, like Jack said, it is a very important. It's you're not going out to buy a new toy. You're buying your most important asset or selling your most important asset. So we almost, we treat every client the same, but almost, inherit that sort of, if you want to call it personal, but we try to be almost friends with all of our clients.
Absolutely.
And that's, I think that's a big key part of our success as well.
I think one of the success is just one more thing as well. There's a lot of agencies who what they'll do, they'll set up a branch, right, and they'll be going 6 months. Then all of a sudden they've got another branch in one town, then another branch in another town. But it's just for me, why not get the base, get the foundations right, and then do that? You don't need to expand too quick, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's when it all goes wrong.
Master the basics.
Yeah.
Focus on what you're good at and put the same effort in with already clients and make sure that you stick to it.
Perfect. That sounds good.
And then as well.
And then lastly, positive mindset as well. So one huge thing about what we cover is you spend most of your time at work. So you want to make sure that you're enjoying it, and you want to make sure that actually you're happy in what you do, as well as just maybe earning well. It's not all about the earning. It's also about job satisfaction. So what would you say the biggest thing that you guys do, either individually or as a team, for positive mindset?
I'll let you start.
Oh, you start.
Right, okay, so we're both naturally are very positive people, and to keep a positive mindset, some people get very bogged down with work, and I'm not saying that we don't, but you need to keep talking.
You need to make it fun.
Express what if you are having a stressful day, or if something's not going as it should do, which ultimately it will, talk about it. I understand why it's not gone how you wanted it to go, and think of a solution as opposed to sort of brushing it under the carpet as such.
Yeah, cool. And you need to make it fun.
You need to make it fun. I think it's an industry where emotions are going to be very high a lot of times. As I said, it is one of the most stressful things you're going to do. But equally, I think the satisfaction of that is if you're dealing with a client and they're very, very stressed, emotions running high, if you change their mindset, I think the satisfaction is when you've done that, you feel like you've achieved something, because that person's then not going home that evening, probably not sleeping all night. I think that's a success.
So it's almost like a passive positive mindset, because you've made someone else happy, and therefore you feel happy because you've done that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've got to go every day. I think you just have a smile on your face. You're going to do your best, and that's it.
Take the positives out of each day and go home knowing that you've put 100% in.
Brilliant. Cool. Thanks very much today. So I think what would be really great is if we catch up in around 6 months, see what's changed for Pirie Homes, get an update on how you two have been. Maybe there's been a change of market by then, and go from there.
Thank you, Samuel.
All right.